This is FSD Supervised 12.3.4. So this is the trip to Lakeland and back. My understanding of 12.3.4 is it predominantly just introduced support for the legacy Model S and X vehicles that have the FSD computer in them and the updated cameras. So I'm not actually expecting any significant changes. And this is largely just for documentation purposes. So just flip through the bookmarks below to see if there's anything notable. I don't like that it stopped for the yellow. I would have kept going. Now it's red. Just flip through the bookmarks or just watch the video back at twice the speed. Its yellow light handling is not perfect, but it's tricky. The the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration has told Tesla that they can't run a stale yellow, but in some cases it slams on the brakes for a yellow light, and that's really not the best approach there. But this is FSD Supervised, so, you know, you gotta keep an eye on it and intervene as necessary. This one is tricky. One, I'm pretty far back from the actual stop line, but locally most people will skip ahead to the next stop line, like that guy. So, and it's tricky. There was a version of FSD that did that, but now they all just stop here. But the issue for me at the moment is I'm about 8 to 10 feet back from the stop line. Like, that truck is where the stop line is. So, I guess I'm one car length from the stop line, which is not the best thing to do. But again, locally, most people go forward across the tracks if there's nothing there and wait there. this guy ahead of me is going so below the speed limit. So the message that blinks up down here is toll booth. That has started in version 12. I don't know why it keeps identifying there being a toll booth there. The irony to me is when we actually get to the toll booth, it doesn't say this is a toll booth. So, you must wait for me. We can also see that the auto max speed limit has gone away, which is an indicator that V12 is still not being used on the highway. And the speed limit is technically correct. I passed a 60 mile an hour sign back there. Under normal circumstances, I would be scooting this up to 80 miles an hour because, as you can see, that's pretty much what the flow of traffic is right now. But for the purposes of the video, I'm just letting it ride. In theory, it should try and get out of this lane, like, now. Because the right lane is open, but it doesn't seem to want to. But the right lane is open, and there's a SUV behind me. But I think it's going to wait until 0.6 miles to change lanes there. and fun. Well, I guess today and tomorrow are the last days of it. So there may or may not be some planes out in the air. Oh, look at that guy. Threw the afterburners on, and the tail end of that plane was red hot. Florida law says I should be getting out of this lane. Now I will admit that was nice. The car did scoot away from the vehicle on approach. It was very subtle, but I did feel it. But this is one of those things where Florida law says I should not be in this lane. If I were driving without recording, I would be already moving over. Again, the point of this video is to demonstrate what the system currently does. And then people can weigh their own opinions on what they want to do with it. But if I weren't recording, I would have moved over. Because that's, what you gotta do. Boop boop, I think, is because I'm approaching barrels. They never popped up and said toll booth. This asphalt is fresh. This, it should not be doing this. It's twice now it's done that. Last time it almost got me rear-ended because someone was trying to move into the pocket that I was clearing. So nav data hasn't been updated, so I imagine the target problem is still there. Stay in the lane. There we go. Good, good. It rode the lane marker line, but otherwise it stayed in the lane. Holy cow, it's a lot of planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.8. Holy cow. Disengage here because it's super religious about following the pin. Not sure why I picked that destination. But that's not what I'm picking. Being weird. Alright. Let's see if I can do this from here. This is it trying not to run a stop sign. Nope, can't find your way out of a paper bag, can you? You are confused as to where you actually are. So it doesn't handle parking lots very well. But let's see if we can find its way out of the parking lot here. Now that left turn can't be done. They recently put a fence up there. This is kind of funny. Figure it out. Nice. Bit of a scenic route, but it did finally figure itself out. Nope. What the hell is this beanbag doing? So we do have traffic coming from this direction. That actually sees pretty far. There's going to be a white van. Personally, I would go after. No, that's an SUV. I would go. No, there's a red car coming out now. There's a lot more high traffic than I was expecting. And now I would go. Well, we're at a red light. We need to get from Hardin Boulevard across frontage and onto 570. Doing this maneuver requires me to get into the far right lane, and then the far right lane is we'll call it the third lane, and then we got to cross 2 lanes to get onto the on-ramp. And then when I get to the on-ramp will be where I intervene, because the speed limit, it perceives the speed limit of the on-ramp as 25 miles an hour, which is false, and I just know there's going to be a bunch of cars trying to get up the on-ramp with me. So I'll have to run the speed limit up at that point. should just do the maneuver without any hesitation whatsoever. Should just follow that truck. Beautiful. Yeah, I know. Construction barrels. FSD's greatest enemy. So here we can see we're at 25 miles an hour. When we get through the toll booth, we should really be ramping it up to 65 miles an hour. It blinked 65 for a split second and then it went away. So it knows it needs to go faster, but the sign on the toll booth that says 25, I think, screwed with it. I need to be... No, you're not going to let me. Well, that's not good. There we go. And the main reason I put up the cameras is just so that as the car makes its lane change decision making, in theory, folks watching can kind of gauge distances to the cars around me. It's not a perfect solution, but it's just what I'm going with. Oh, I don't want to do that for the route. last two times it changed lanes to follow route. It did so at 1 mile and 0.8 miles. So let's see what we do here. So it looks like they may have increased the lane change distances. So it used to be that at 0.6 miles, fairly consistently, it would try and change lanes into the lane it needed to be in to get off the highway. It looks like they've increased that to be between 0.8 and 1 mile. I'll have to look at it in post, but I'm pretty sure that was a changing lanes to follow route and not changing lanes to get out of passing lane. So one of my other descriptions of version 12 is that it is like a tourist. Me personally, I would be going up to the next set of lights, not this one. Going this way, it's going to go do a maneuver I hate doing. especially because it's afternoon and traffic's going to probably be a little bit thick, but we'll see. So I hate what we're about to do, because County Line Road, which is the road running left to right on the screen here, which is actually a north-south road, but it's like 3 lanes wide or something, and it's very heavy with trucks because they've ripped out a bunch of strawberry fields and put in warehouses and whatnot. And I basically have to cross 3 or 4 lanes of traffic to get into a turn lane. And it's extremely short decision, and I don't like it. As a human, this is not a route I would do. And it's not really showing on the map very well, but it's like nothing but traffic coming from the other direction. And trying to get across all these lanes of traffic is damn near impossible. But nobody's behind me, so I'll let it ride. Don't be stupid. Well, that truck is turning. What are we gonna do? Yeah, you are not gonna make this in time. Nope, I'm gonna disengage. It was going to squeeze itself into a really small hole that was not recommended. So I would not have changed in the middle of the intersection. But again, that's why I don't go this way, right? I would have pathed it to go to the next light. We never would have had this problem in the first place. And I may have to unable to complete maneuver, please assist. Alright, so we're going to disengage. I'm going to scoot a little bit more forward, and that will allow the U-turn to complete. So again, as a local, I never would have tried to do that in the early mornings where I did that last time. Yeah, it'll work out just fine, but on a day like today, there's just too much traffic. I'm going to wait for this white car to pass and then pull the U-turn here. Now, in theory, it could have cut off the other truck and executed the maneuver, but I like my car, and I don't like people being pissed off with me, and I'd rather train the system to behave like a human. Oh, that is really loud.
I look real good.
That poor child is going to have no hearing left in the back seat. That poor child. cyclist a healthy amount of space on the side. That was nice. Holy crap, they removed the train tracks. There used to be a set of defunct railroad tracks that were there. When did they do that? Oh, wow. Dude, you came close to my bumper. So, as a whole, again, no real difference. We'll call it 2 disengagements. The first one because it was a stupid pathing decision. I never would have gone that way, but I let it do it just because, you want to demonstrate the problems inherent to the system, right? And in this case, it's like FSD drives itself just fine. The other piece of the problem, though, is just the navigation data sucks. And just because a route is the shortest route doesn't mean it's the best route. As exampled by back there, we're getting from where I was to where I needed to be would have been easier if I'd just gone ahead one street light. And the second disengagement was because that particular spot, the car couldn't do a U-turn, which, again, understandable. It likely would not have been able to do it had I not scooted the car forward and used the business entrance to do it. But, the system's great. You just got to be mindful of what it can't do, which is drive like a local, right? It drives like a tourist. So other than that, yeah, thanks for watching.